after my last live stream, someone hit me up and we got to talking about practice. Yes, we talking about practice. But we talked about how many people of all ages will come to practice with no plan, no clear sight, no clear vision to get better. And I feel like this video will help you get through those stages, help you come to practice with a plan, and help you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, help you get better at the things you want to get better. What's good, everybody? It's Perci Garner, former pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians, and I want to help you reach your goal of being a better pitcher and possibly, get into the big leagues. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in again. I know we just had the podcast about the NFTs and cryptocurrency and Web3 and how positive that community is. I just want to thank you for, being a part of my community. And if you guys like this content, like these videos, like pitching tips, then make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. So we already got someone in the chat. How we doing, Pro Gamer? But I want to get into today. So today we're going to be talking about deliberate practice. Now, that might ring a bell to you. It might not. I'm not sure. But I've been doing some studying because after last stream when we were talking about stolen bases, me and my old high school coach kind of got into a deep discussion about how important holding runners are, and just important certain things are that young kids these days don't really take. They kind of take for granted and don't really practice those things. And obviously as coaches and mentors and people that are looked at as having influence over your baseball career, then you obviously want to make sure you're strategic in how we position this and how we teach this. So today I want to talk about something called deliberate practice, and that's opposed by naive practice. Now I kind of want to explain the two real quick. So naive practice is just your typical, what I call going through the motions, where you just show up to practice, no plan, no goals, just there because you're supposed to be there, and then you go in the cage, you swing at your 10 pitches, you're not trying to do anything, you're just trying to swing and hit the ball, and then you're out of the cage. Then you're talking about something you did last night after the fact, and there's just no attention to detail, there's no intention, there's no focus on what you're trying to do. Deliberate practice, on the other hand, which was developed by a guy named Anders Ericsson. And, deliberate practice, it's very simple when we break it down. All it is having an intention when you come to practice. It could be something that you thought of the night before. It could be something that you thought of 10 minutes before. But as long as you have a goal and something that you can chase during that practice, something that you can reach, something that you can measure, then you have the making of a lot more things that can come out of that practice. A lot of times when you just go through the motions, you just go to practice, you don't really know if you got better at anything, and you kind of just do things. But, that's how people are, and I kind of want to help people, kind of get over that and focus on things that they can actually measure and reach and show progression. So then your confidence level goes, and a lot of good things can come from it. So, and I just want to let you know, I'm going to go through, my tips, my points, and then at the end, I'll answer questions, and I'll, talk, I'll read chat, but obviously Pro Gamer is in here, and I appreciate you being here. Yeah, autopilot practice, it does suck. I had been in autopilot practice. I've done that too many times in my career. Obviously I look back and regret not knowing about deliberate practice and not really focusing on certain things. But as obviously when I got older, got to my pro career, there was more practices that I was focused. But I still was guilty of, autopilot practice, as pro gamers calling it. But the thing I want to talk about, so point one, we've talked about the difference between naive practice, what he calls it. I like to just call it going through the motions, or as pro gamers calling it, autopilot practice. And, there's actually something you can pinpoint when you're doing deliberate practice. So we talked about the two differences there. And, the next thing I want to talk about is just how effective and, what you can actually change when you incorporate deliberate practice. So, when you pinpoint, say, just for an example, if you're a hitter, you're like, hey, I'm going in the cage today, and I'm going to focus on either maybe taking the ball the other way if it's if it's on the outer half of the plate. I'm gonna let it travel, and I'm not gonna just roll over. I'm gonna let it travel deep into the plate, and then I'm gonna send it the other way with power. Or you could say, you know what? On 7 out of 10 of these pitches, I want to make solid contact. I don't want to, swing out of my shoes and get jammed or anything like that. I want to stick to my fundamentals, and I want to make solid contact on 7 out of these 10 pitches. So those are things that you can kind of track and measure. And sometimes if you don't have a good BP pitcher, then I don't know how you're going to do taking balls the other way. But you get my point. And when you kind of pinpoint something specific like that, then naive practice kind of goes out the window, and then you can actually talk to yourself or, have positive self-talk and say, hey, look, I lost my focus for a second. I'm not, focusing on what I started this practice and what I intended on doing. So then you can kind of get back on track. When you're going through naive practice or autopilot practice, you're kind of just going through the motions, and you're not able to track, okay, I didn't do what I wanted to do there in that at bat or in that swing. Or pitchers, if you're just going in there throwing the ball, just trying to chuck it and not working on, hey, I want to work on this location, I want to work on this pitch, I want to make sure I'm able to throw this pitch for a strike. I want to make sure I throw 5 out of these 7 pitches as a strike on arm side. So those are things you can measure as a pitcher as well. So there's no excuses. If you're playing outfield or fielding balls on the infield, there's things you can track there. I want to make sure I field these all cleanly. I want to make sure, I'm not, making bad throws. I want to make sure I hit my target in the chest every time. And if I don't, how can I improve this? And that's where the other factor of deliberate practice comes in. So just to make it easy to apply the deliberate practice idea, there are certain steps, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. So, first, what we've already talked about, you need to establish a reachable, specific goal. Having a vague goal doesn't help anybody. So a reachable, specific goal. If you do that, things can, you can definitely tell, okay, I'm reaching my goal now, or all right, I need to get this better, or I need to focus on what I'm doing here. Then you can kind of analyze what you're doing. So the next thing is, you must be, I know this is hard, especially at a young age, but you must be laser focused on improvement during that practice. So just for me, what I used to do is I want to make sure, because I used to get fined, believe it or not, when I played with the Phillies, I have a risk of being fined if I did not throw 12 to 16 changeups a game, because they knew throwing a changeup and forcing me to throw a changeup, I would grow confidence in it, and I would get better, and it'd become a better pitch for me. And it obviously did. So when I was playing later in my career, a changeup was a very good pitch for me, and it's because of the work that I put in. But they made me do that. So when I'm throwing my bullpens, they would be on me then, say, hey, we need to make sure you're mixing in the changeup. When you're working on the bullpens, make sure you throw the changeup arm side, because that's where your fastball is effective. So if you can get your fastball and changeup looking the same and pitching, they didn't use this terminology of pitching in tunnels, but that's basically what they were teaching me. And when I'm going to my bullpen, I know in my head, okay, I'm going to be working on changeups arm side today and keeping them low. That's simple. It's not very hard, and you can measure that. If I'm not throwing it there, then that's when we can go into my delivery and say, okay, I'm not throwing my changeup a little high. Maybe my arm's a little late, because sometimes people like to slow down on changeups because it's a changeup, but keep that arm speed going. Now, that was just an example. Now, the other one of the other keys to incorporating deliberate practice is to receive immediate feedback on your performance. So another thing is to have an accountability partner, whether that's your coach or another player, that maybe he's working on the same thing, and you guys can kind of tag team this or compete against each other. Bringing competition into practice will make you get better, trust me. We did that a lot in college football, bringing competition into practice, and it made us get stronger and better when we did that. So having an accountability partner, usually it's a coach, and fill your coach in like, hey, coach, today I am working on this, or today I'm working on getting my arm side changeup location better. Then he can give you immediate feedback. If he's on the same page as you, then that's when things get all the stars align, and you can get better quicker, because everyone wants to do that. I know I just saw this Kobe quote the other day that said, everybody wants to get to the finish line, and he's famous for knowing that he loves the journey. And you can't get better without taking a step each day. You got to get 1%. You know, you hear a lot of people saying that, 1% better. But it's true. You're not going to get just this big quantum leap. But the thing he said is, if you get better every day, take these steps, step by step, and get better, then eventually, 6 months down the line, you can look back and go, wow. Then you realize that was a leap, those 6 months. And that's more realistic. So, and I think adding a deliberate practice will help you with that. Now, the last part is you must get out of your comfort zone. So this is big. This is huge. Say you're one of those hitters who's going in the cage, and maybe you have some goals. You're like, hey, you know what? I want to hit 4 out of 10 pitches to the opposite field. You know in your mind, okay, I can do that. That's easy. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Make it 7, make it 8. And then you're knowing like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't get to it that time, but next time I'm going to work on this. And again, that's when the coach or your other teammate comes into play as well. So you got to tie a lot of these things in. Just for another example, getting out of your comfort zone and attempting things that are just out of reach, it will encourage you to give it your all. If you're asking, you know what, all I want to do is locate 2 changeups to my arm side out of a 30-pitch bullpen, that's not really that's not really reaching for the stars, all right? But the thing I like to say, and my son always messes this quote up, but if you shoot for the stars, you'll miss and you'll hit the treetops. So that means you might not hit 10 out of 10 or 9 or 8 out of 10, but if you aim for that and you don't meet your goal, you're still at 6 or 7, which is obviously good in the world of baseball. If you're doing something at a 70% clip, you're doing things pretty well. Now, hitting the other way, that's a little different. But I'm a pitcher, so we want high percentage of hitting our spots. If you can hit your fastball glove side 7 out of 10 times, you're going to be sitting pretty. So just to review real quick, the difference between naive and deliberate practice. Naive is just going through the motions, not having a plan, not having goals, just going in and getting your practice done just to say you completed it. Deliberate practice is pinpointing something you want to get better at, that's reachable, that's trackable, that's measurable, and that you can have someone that can keep you accountable to those goals. And then also you want to make sure it's something that you can change and that you can see. Those are the type of goals you want to set. And then to apply these ideas, we want to make sure you establish a reachable, specific goal. We want to make sure you're focused on improving during that practice. We want to make sure you have an immediate feedback from yourself and partners, your teammates, your coaches. And lastly, you want to make sure you get out of your comfort zone. Don't set easy goals. Okay, so Pro Gamer says 700 batting average is something even Barry Bonds couldn't do. Exactly. If you're, I'm a pitcher. So as a pitcher, you want to make sure you're succeeding at a high clip, and I would say that is just hitting your location. You're not going to strike everyone out. You're not going to get everyone out. You're not going to get a whole bunch of swing and misses every time. But if you execute the pitch you want to throw, that's success to me. Okay, so but yeah, that's my spiel on deliberate practice. I hope that these tips have helped you today. And, Programmer, I appreciate you coming in and typing in chat and having this interaction. I haven't been live streaming on this channel very much, but this is the new format that I'm going to be doing moving forward. So I'm enjoying this. Again, I appreciate it. I would appreciate a like and subscribe. I'm with you guys on this journey. I love just sharing the knowledge that I've gained over the years, playing professional ball, playing collegiate ball, all the stuff I've learned. I want to share as much as I can. and I appreciate feedback from everyone. So if you're watching this video and you think, hey, I think you can improve here, or hey, maybe you should do a video on this, I love all that. Comment down below, and you'll have your video based on that topic in some time. I'm not gonna say it's tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to do a live stream every Wednesday and Friday, and sometimes we obviously have the podcast, so that's gonna interrupt the plan a little bit. But usually that's gonna be every other Tuesday. So yeah, this is my YouTube account on Sunday. Oh, what's going on? Well, I appreciate you, Sunday, from my Discord. I appreciate you joining the Discord, and I appreciate you also coming in chat. So, you know, I hope my tips help you, and I appreciate all the questions you're giving me. I'm trying to answer them the best I can, and I also need to make some more short content too. So, thank you guys for watching this video. And if Pro Gamer, if you don't have anything else that you have to ask or say, I'm going to get out of here, and you can hit me up in my Discord if you do have any additional questions. Because, you know, this video will go live, but I'll cut out the beginning, the starting soon screen, and the end. But I do want to add this in. If you guys want more pitching tips content, the playlist will be right here, and another video that I think you should watch will be right here. So support the channel by either clicking one of the links below, or continuing to watch, like, and subscribe. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next stream. Peace.